US government debt is set to increase $5 billion, over $5 billion, every single day for the next decade. In fact, official numbers show this debt increasing consistently until the year 2052. This isn't some rampant speculation. These are numbers from the official federal government telling you we're going to keep increasing debt. And what does that really mean? What does it actually mean? It means that money is guaranteed to be printed out of thin air. So today we're going to talk about how this whole system is completely rigged, and the only chance that any of us have is to become financial speculators. Check this out. I just tweeted this over on X. Go ahead, smash a like and a retweet on it for me. The American economy is totally broken even for top earners. Would you consider someone who makes $250,000 a year a top earner? Now, of course, they're not super rich. Trust me, they're not. I'm about to show you how they're not. But they are certainly well paid. I'm sure we can all agree on that. But here's where it gets crazy. Gen Z and millennials apparently need $3 to $5 million in savings to retire comfortably. This is from a new study as reported by Watcher Guru. The math simply don't math here. It just doesn't. Because listen, you make $250K a year, you take home about half of that after taxes, $125K to maybe $140K, depending on where you live. But mind you, most of the people who make $250K live in high tax zones, in coastal cities, in places where there are higher taxes. Now, a cautious spender would literally save maybe half of that. Maybe they'll end up with $60K, maybe $80K if they're like super penny pinching and don't spend a lot of money at all. But the reality is that most people adjust their spending based on how much they're earning. In fact, I was shocked to learn this, but I'm really not, because this is human nature. Most of the people making $250K are living paycheck to paycheck. That means they're not saving any money. So in reality, let's just go ahead and be generous and say these people are saving less than $30,000, but just call it $30,000 per year based on a $250,000 salary. Now I know I can already see the comments. Oh my God, if I was making $250K a year, I'd be rich. I'd be saving all my money. No, you wouldn't. That's not how it works. I promise you. And even if you did, you'd be in a very, very small fraction of the people who earn that amount of money. Almost nobody does. So if you need $3 million to retire and you're saving $30,000 a year, well, the math is that you need 100 years at that pay scale to even achieve retirement. Just busted out my calculator and it turns out that's not humanly possible, not at least with today's medical science. So what we need to understand is that the system is totally FUBAR. It's screwed up so much that even elite earners are not set up mathematically to end up easily retiring. That means that people in the economy need to do one thing, which is speculate on assets. If you're not taking your assets and putting them in something that's going to multiply their US dollar value to effectively protect against inflation and to grow their retirement savings, then effectively you are screwed. There's no mathematical way, unless you're making $500K to $1 million a year, there's absolutely no way that you're going to, after taxes and life expenses, save up enough to retire. You're just not. You're going to either need to inherit money, get lucky, win the lotto, or effectively expect the government to save you. And for most people, that stuff's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So what fixes this? Right now, China's boom is over. Their economic woes are absolutely mounting, and it's going to hit America. The last time we hit recession was this gray bar here during the COVID crisis, and that led to a massive increase in monetary spending. There is absolutely no doubt that a recession is coming, that some slowdown is coming, and that the government will eventually pivot back to spending money. In fact, remember, they're literally telling us they're going to do this here. This isn't speculation. So the only question now is knowing that there's no way that most people can actually retire based on saving or earning money. And in fact, most people probably won't ever be able to make $250K a year reliably at a job, unless of course they're hustlers. I'm definitely a high earner based on the businesses that I've set up, but I'm also a literal workaholic. I'm obsessed with working, and I've had a bit of luck getting into an industry that ended up panning out the way I hoped it would. But the future to me isn't luck. It is actually programmed that Bitcoin and crypto will eventually perform well against the dollar. So will stocks, so will real estate, so will a ton of different asset classes. But there is a best asset class, and that is of course Bitcoin, which based on the charts is setting up for another amazing run. It's also at one of the most oversold points it's been, and the last times it reached this level were here in March, where it had a pump of 60%, in November of last year, where it had a pump of 67%, in June of 2022, where it had a massive pump, and so on and so forth. Look, what can I say? I love me some Bitcoin. I love me some crypto. The reality is that we might see some astronomical dumps in the next few months, which is why I have not chunked all my money into the market. I'm done catering according to the algo. I don't care what YouTube wants. I want to make content that makes my subscribers completely aware, no holds bar, of absolutely every way to get ahead. And I believe that aggressively buying during these dumps, if we are so lucky as to get more dumps, I believe that that is the absolute way forward. I'm a huge believer that this next bear phase will end quicker for crypto than other asset classes, which are more entrenched in the traditional economy. And I believe that Bitcoin will be the absolute best case. But really, if you're smart, you'll get knee deep into crypto. You'll start learning what else is going on in crypto. You'll start getting into altcoins. Even though most altcoins do eventually lose, at the beginning of the cycle is where people win astronomically large from altcoins. People will always put up the charts of how much altcoins fall in the bear markets. But let us not forget the charts of how much they rise from the last bear market to the peaks. That's the stuff we're looking at here. You want to get into altcoins before the cycle starts. I look back at 2020, almost all the buys I made in 2020 were good buys. Almost all those coins eventually made huge gains into 2021, as long as they were decent projects. Again, it's a lot of work to be in crypto, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Most of you will lose a lot at first. But the reality is that altcoins changed my life, and I believe they can change a lot of people's lives. And you want to use those altcoins to amass Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's just the facts. I'm going to start bringing you a no bullshit approach to making money in this industry. We're going to start analyzing charts and projects that have done well. And even if people hate me on YouTube for it for a while, I believe in the long term, I'll be helping more people by getting them into stuff early. Early is the key, because once the market is booming, that's when stuff gets really risky and the music could stop at any moment. You want to be in at the early stages before everyone else and their grandma has filled up their coffers with those assets and are prepared to sell it to you. As always, I'm EllioTrades. If you guys are excited for this and we want to go on this journey of making some awesome gains this cycle together, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's get to work.